Hi guys, welcome back to another episode, another conversation with the Apaters.
Hi guys, Sam here.
And I'm Zanele. Welcome back. And hope you guys are doing good. We're doing well. Thank you so much for people who've been watching and listening to our podcasts so far, and we would truly honestly appreciate it if you subscribe, because we're recording for YouTube and we also recording for the podcast. So please follow us and share our videos, because I do know that the videos will be helpful to other people as well. So,
Yes, guys, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and the podcast platforms. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So as you can see in the title today, we're talking about functional living. And, we'll start with just defining what is functional living in our own understanding, or how we would describe it. So for me personally, functional living is basically living minimalistic or simple living. I know that there's a word called minimalism out there, and obviously there are so many definitions people have about it. So I wouldn't say we are minimalists, but we are living our life in a simple manner, and we're very intentional basically about things that we buy and how we live our lives.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And so basically, it's been functional and intentional in how we live our lifestyles. And, even when we purchase things, we do purchase things that are functional as opposed to we at the back of our mind, functionality is very key when we make decisions on things,
on what to purchase,
Yeah.
basically. So the reason that we chose this lifestyle, okay, I'm going to say it from my own point of view, and you also obviously will say it from your own point of view. So for me, it was very much organic.
Okay.
English. I think as I was maturing and as I was growing older, I became quite aware of my spending behaviors, or my consumptions, or my just acquiring stuff that really didn't make any sense. So my husband obviously would attest to before how my wardrobe used to look, piles and piles and piles of clothes, piles and piles and piles and piles of shoes. I bought a lot, okay? And because, at the time anyway, that when I started buying was during the times when I used to have accounts. So it was, I'd say, easier for me to buy because there was credit available in my accounts. So when I see
Retail accounts, you mean?
Yes, retail accounts. So if I see like a more credit available, and there's sale, I'm like, oh, let me buy it. Even if I don't really need it, I bought on an impulse. So I bought clothes, I bought shoes, and I bought bags on an impulse. So now I'd say the changing or the transformation started, I'd say maybe 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, where I started being cautious about my spending. But I think that also was influenced by my decision to go debt free.
Yeah.
So which meant I was a bit more aware of my spending, and I was very careful in how I spent and whatever. So for me, that's how it started.
Yeah, I mean,
You've always been
that's exactly what I wanted to say. That I've always been very cautious and very intentional. When it comes to what I buy or eat or 99% of my purchases, are very intentional and functional. I want to buy what I want to use, because also, I'm a very big, for a lack of a better word, advocate of no waste. I don't like waste in any way, not
And food.
food, not in anything. If I buy shoes, I buy the shoes that I'm going to wear.
Until
I
it
mean,
tears.
yeah, well,
Yes, until you start seeing it tear.
or I give it away before it
Yes,
does.
that's where, before you start seeing that you need to give it away, it's when you start seeing this shoe is no longer in its form, then that's when you give it away.
There's a word that came up when you earlier when you were talking that impulse buying. I don't do impulse buying. You can do 90% sales or whatever it is that is out there. I am very cautious and again intentional about how I spend my money and what I spend it on.
No, my husband is very careful with that. But I mean, like I said, when I started, thinking differently about purchasing and buying stuff, it was important for me to change my lifestyle, because I also saw that I had a lot of clothes that I wasn't wearing. Like, winter will come, it will pass and go. Summer will come and go. That one item that I bought at a sale that I've never worn and I still haven't worn. And so for me, it was important to start, obviously my husband was complaining also that I have too many things and I need to get rid of them.
And also, I should mention, this is during the period when you were still in debt and you spending the money you did not have, because again, it was the retail account and it's a form of debt.
Yeah, but also...
And I've never been in debt in any way, not financially or otherwise. But anyways, not financially, but, you were, and obviously the emotional, reaction that comes with that also was affecting our how we deal with each other or how we deal or talk about money, as it were.
Yeah, but I think also, I was at a different frame of mind at that time, obviously, because it was a thing to buy things and have nice things and to be seen, you've got something nice. What did you, I enjoyed that. I enjoy fashion. I enjoy stuff. But I think now I am more, I'd say, careful in what I purchase. Now I'm, I saw for myself, the future goal is to start making my own wardrobe, but I have, started making my own things because, again, I will, first of all, when I make it for myself, it will fit me. And also the intention would be for it to last me for a while. So, and I could have it for a couple of years, So what I wanted to say was that when you used to complain about like me having too many clothes, and we saw it a lot when we were, especially when we were moving.
Yeah.
Like when I think, I don't have a lot of things, but when we move and like I would have bags and bags and bags and bags of clothes, shoes and bags and makeup and you name it, hair stuff,
Glasses.
Everything was there. So now I started decluttering. That is also when I started working on my debt. So I started like getting rid of clothes. Looking at, there's so many shows or so many videos on YouTube that talk about, how to declutter and stuff like that. If you are in that situation, you should check those videos out. But was important for me to like be realistic about certain things. And one of them was, do I really need all these clothes? And yeah, the answer is no. On top of that, my style was evolving, So some of the clothes that I had were clothes that I used to, I bought a couple of years back, and my style has completely changed. And I was keeping it like, hey, let me just keep it. One day is one day, I'll wear it. But that one day, most of my clothes never came. So anyway, I started decluttering, meaning like I removed clothes that I wasn't wearing, that were not also in my fashion taste anymore. So some how it happened was it wasn't in phases. It didn't just happen all at once. So some stuff I will still keep, but later on I will declutter again. Like, actually, let me get rid of this. So my wardrobe, my shoes, my things have substantially reduced. Right?
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I totally agree, and that came from a conscious decision to want to live better.
Yes.
And it's something that we should all, at some point, put into consideration on how we live our lives and how we spend our money, because at the end of the day, this is your hard-earned money, and you need to be very cautious, about how you spend it.
And I mean, again, also, do you really need those clothes? Like, do you really need those items? Because another thing is when we had a lot of stuff in the kitchen, multiple, like, plates. I mean, there's 3 of us in the house. Like, what do we need 20 plates for? So when we're talking about, that, functional, it's like
Living.
we look at the size of our family. And if I have to have visitors, the most, maybe it will be 4 people or 5 people. So I will have like 5 extra plates. But realistically, I don't need 20 plates, So how that started was, looking in terms of like the cupboard. Like, do I really need 20 plates? If I don't, then I give them away.
Even coffee mugs.
Everything from even utensils and spoons and whatnot, I gave them away because you don't actually need so much. Scarf tins, all those lunch, those empty Tupperwares.
Yes.
Got rid of them. But
And by the way, most of them are plastics, and also, we have to also make decisions on how we use less plastics.
yeah, but also, babes, it was just to clear because we still have some plastics containers, which is used for like leftover stuff. So I wouldn't buy Tupperware personally because, it's expensive, and I just use the plastic containers that he tends to come with, because some of the Nigerian shops food they sell with the containers. But what was important was to also clear out our home so that our home is homely and fresh and breezy. Not too many things in the cupboards, when you're trying to open, things are falling out. That's what was important. And also just creating a harmonious home, like where this is where this stays. And even in that cupboard, it's not overflowing. That you have a big cupboard doesn't mean that you can fill it to the brim. I feel like now I'm at a place where I'm getting to like being organized about the home, again, functionality. If the ironing board, the iron has to be close to each other. You create that space for everything to be in its own place, so that you don't also spend 5 hours trying to look for something. So how do you live this? How would you say you are now living this lifestyle? What are the daily decisions? Other than obviously, like you said, intentional purchasing and stuff like that. What would you say daily is contributes to this lifestyle that you are into now? Because for me is it's all about, for example, if I want to buy furniture, right, I'm more like, first of all, it has to be high quality, okay, because now we also think about the longevity of the stuff that you're buying. Okay, so obviously when you buy furniture, it has to be high quality. So not buying things on a whim, like because it's on sale, just buy it. No, it has to. You have to think about your purchases. That's what I'm doing anyway, at least for now. Is that when I want to buy something, especially big items like furnitures and stuff like that, it's all about quality. That's all, so that it lasts decades and decades, and so that I don't have to replace it or anything like that. Not buying something because it was cheap, and then 6 months down the line it's no longer working.
For me it has always been, I mean, you can attest to that, to say, I mean, sometimes you would kind of like, you like a luxury life or something like that.
Yes,
but for me, and because, whatever it is that I buy or purchase or want to bring home, it should be of quality, because I, thought of the longevity of such item.
I actually used to be like a cheap buyer, or like, let me buy something because it's not because it's cheap. I need it, but I will go and look for the cheaper version of it. And before you know it's like the other day I bought cotton pads from a China shop. That thing was scratching my face, and then funny enough, that the same amount was the same amount that I would have paid when I bought it from Clicks, and which was good quality, So sometimes, like, buying cheap, it's not beneficial for you. Like, you'd rather like save your money and keep it until you are able to buy that expensive thing that is of good quality.
Maybe not necessarily expensive, but
good quality is expensive though.
Well, if you compare price, obviously you have to pay for the value. You have to pay for the value, and again, expensive is relative. If something is selling for, let's say, for example, 500 rand, and it's of quality, and the cheaper version is selling for 300 rand, I would buy I would buy the 500 rand, because I know it's going to last. As opposed to buying a 300 rand one, and 2 months or 3 months down the line, I have to go and buy another one. And before you know it, in a year, I've bought 300 rand of each item 4 times. That's 1,200 rand in 1 year. And the one that I would have bought for 500 rand, could have lasted, the entire year. So quality,
I get it.
over cheap stuff is absolutely better.
And again, buying stuff also with multifunctionality in mind, definitely, as well. So the multifunctional part, I think I got the aha. Well, I had the aha moment. Do you know what is aha moment? Do you know it?
Okay.
Do you know what is an aha moment?
Yes.
Okay. When I used to watch those little tiny home living, where people would talk about like how, they have a bench, because, in tiny homes, the space is very limited. So the furniture that they do, or the stuff that they do in the home, has to be multifunctional. So a couch can serve as a sleeping bed, or it can serve as a storage or whatever. So like looking at things that are multifunctional, like I was giving you an example about, there's actually a boiler for eggs, like a appliance for boiling eggs, right? Now, that you would probably only use it to boil eggs, But if you look at it really, like, we boil eggs from the pot, use pot to boil the eggs. That same pot is used to cook. That same pot is used to boil water, etc., etc. Like, would you ever use the boiler again? It's like popcorn machines. Like, really, like, all those things end up on your counter. And usually,
and they occupy space, and when they do, that kind of creates a cluttered environment. And what you want to do in your home is to create a decluttered space, and inevitably then create a open space. And when you have a open space, air can breathe, flow nicely in your home, and that's also good for your health.
It is, because if you wake up in the morning and you just see stuff everywhere.
It's de-
Like
it is de-
it's a
it's
lot.
depressing. It is depressing.
It's a lot. So yeah, definitely like getting things that are multifunctional, and again, emphasizing on the fact that when you buy something, like, use it. I grew up at the time when my mom used to.
Sorry. I just want to say, buy what you are going to use. Buy what you know that you are going to use, and it's going to be, it's going to serve its purpose. As opposed to buying things and you store it and you just storing things. It's not good. It's not good for your finances. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your environment, the space of your home, as it. Yeah.
And also it's just a waste of money if you're just gonna